This is Mrs. Murphy, and today we're going to take you through your first Java program. Okay, before we can start, you do need to download the software, and the links for this are in the tutorial. But you'll download the Java software first, and you'll come down here, accept the agreement, select the operating of your choice, download and install that. Now, that's just the compiler. We also need a nice text editor, and one I found that's really simple to use is JGrasp. JGrasp is pretty easy. You don't have to build projects. It's super simple. If you're more comfortable using something else, go ahead and use what you're comfortable with. But I find JGrasp is pretty good for beginning students. So then you'll download the version of JGrasp for your correct operating system. And as soon as you install and open it, it will look something like this. And it's just a kind of like a text editor like Brackets was. And it's specifically made for coding in Java. Okay, so we're going to start our first project, and I'm just going to do a file new Java project. And so all this is going to do is print out hello world to the screen. We'll print out a little math problem just so we can show you a couple of things. Okay, to start with, there's a little bit of code that goes behind this. The first I want to show you is our class. Our class is going to be called, and class is a keyword. You have to put the word class. And then the next you can name whatever you want. So I'm going to call this first program. Notice here I'm doing it's two words, but I'm running them together. You don't want any spaces in the name. Okay, so this right here is where the first program begins and ends. This is a container. And that's what this class is it's a container for your code. So I'm going to show you another command, and that's a comment. A comment is two slashes like this, and all it does is lets you put notes in without the compiler reading those notes for you. So it's just for yourself. And I'm just going to say that this is a container for all the code. All right, so now we have our class. At this point, I'm going to save the file, and when you save it, you want to make sure the file name is exactly the same as the class name. That's an important Java key thing. It has to be the same, otherwise it doesn't compile. Now, fortunately for us, JGrasp does that by default. It takes whatever we put in our class and automatically saves it like that. So if we just hit save, save it to where you want. Make sure that it's not in some like weird C drive or something. I think sometimes JGrasp by default saves into the program files directory, so just switch it to your documents if you need to, and then go ahead and hit save. And might already exist, of course, but it's now gone. Okay, so that is our main point. Next, our main container. We're going to have another container inside that, and this is the main container. This is called the main method. And all it is an entry point to start our program. And today, that's all we're going to do is a couple lines of code in main. But later on, we're going to actually show you how to make a window and make some more interesting things other than just writing hello world to the screen, of course. Okay, so the command to create the main method is public static void main. And then there's a couple of parameters. There's a string args. And then once again, you have these opening and closing squiggly brackets. And this just begins and ends the main method. So your main method is inside of your container. Now, if you ever have any questions on these brackets, if you put your cursor and just double click, all right, let's see if I can get it to work now. I'm not going to be able to. If you hover over the bracket, it will tell you where they open and close. If you notice, the bracket here is also getting highlighted. Same thing down here. So if you're ever missing a bracket, just start hovering over your brackets and you can see where they begin and end. Okay, so this is our main program. It's now pretty much done. We're just going to show you commands to actually make it do something other than just compile. All right, so our first command we're going to show you is a print statement. And all this does is prints whatever you choose out to the screen. So you're going to say system.out.println, stands for print line. And in quotes, it's going to print out whatever we want. So here I'm going to say hello world. End quotes, closing parentheses, semicolon. Okay, this is no longer English class. You're going to finish every sentence now with a semicolon. So this semicolon just finishes this sentence. I'm going to print hello world out to the screen. Anything you put here in quotes will print out to the screen. If you don't put it in quotes, it will probably give you an error. So for now, keep it in quotes. I'll talk about that here in a sec. Okay, so I'm going to compile this. You have to compile it in order to see any changes. So the little plus sign means compile. And look down here in your error window at the bottom, and we can see that there's no errors. So that means you can hit run, and all it does is prints our text out to our little console window down here. Now, suppose we do have an error. Suppose we typed in system.ut.utah, I guess, system.utah.print. Well, that's not a command in Java, so it's going to tell us, oh, there's an error here. And you'll have to fix that error and recompile the project before it will actually print out your statement. Okay, now there's a couple other things I wanted to show you with this system.out.print statement. And that is the use of a plus sign. Okay, so I'm going to do another system.out.print line, and I'm going to say 2 plus 3, because that's what I have on the website. Okay, so obviously this is going to print out 2 plus 3 to the website. It's not going to do any of the math because whatever we put in quotes displays out to the website, or to not the website, excuse me, the console. So now here we have hello world, and it shows the text 2 plus 3. So anytime we have something in quotes, it displays that amount. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of this just for a sec, and I'm going to get rid of the equal sign. I'm going to get rid of all the quotes. This also works. Since we have numbers, it won't work with text, but it will work with numbers. This time when I compile it, it's going to actually do the operation. So hello world is already printing out, and then 2 plus 3 is 5. Now we can do both of those together at the same time. So here I could say 2 plus 3, put a little equal sign so it displays out to the screen. Now I have to separate these two. There's the quotes right here, and then there's this thing right here. So there's two things that I'm displaying to the output. And I separate those with what's called a concatenation character. Really, it's a plus sign. But to make it fancy, we'll call it concatenation. So here now we could say 2 plus 3 equals, and then it will show the answer. So let's just kind of compile and run that so we can show you. So there's our 2 plus 3 equals 23. I bet you didn't see that coming, did you? All right, let's switch this around again. I'm going to copy and paste this sentence just kind of to show you what's going on, and then I'm going to show you why. So this time, instead of displaying 2 plus 3 equals, I'm going to say 2 plus 3 equals. Now I'm going to put it in quotes, not equals, plus, little equal sign there, and 2 plus 3. Okay, so this time I have the math problem first and my string, my text, second. So now when I run it, it actually does the math. 5 equals 2 plus 3. Weird, huh? Okay, let's show you why. In computers, it reads from right to left. So if I have a number plus a number, it gives me a number. If I have text plus text, it gives me text. So here, it's going to do this plus the 2 first. So 2 plus 3 equals this text plus 2, just concatenates it, just appends it to the end. So that's why this one is getting appended. Now let's take a look at this one. Here it has the very first thing is 2 plus 3. Well, it knows a number plus a number is a number. So it's actually going to add that. So it's going to become 5. And then a number plus text is, well, it's text, so it appends the text onto the answer of the numeric values. Okay, so play around with that. This is not something that that you're gonna get like overnight. Play around with that. Really, the assignment is just get something compiling, get something working, get the software installed, and get ready, because we're gonna end up doing some really fun stuff with Java. This is one of my favorite parts to teach in this class. Good luck. Please let me know if you run into any problems.